Alright, so now the exposure is at 3. I'm going to drive down and around. Instead of making the left, I'll make that right and go around. And then I'll do the same thing with doing exposure at 6, which is the max exposure. Just to kind of compare it, see how it compares and how much it degrades the video. I'm going to leave the VFO at the exposure 0 and 4K 30, and I'm just, because right now the NextBase, this is 4K 30, and then I'll just compare it, see the difference. The screen, I can't really tell. I want to know I want to see how much it degrades it, if it makes it grainy. Hopefully nobody calls the cops. I'm like, it's this car that keeps driving around the neighborhood. they don't. I never seen that car before. This is like a small town where they're like, they probably know each other's cars here. Anyway, so like I was saying in my other video, this is a quick. I'm doing a couple of videos in case I do return this camera if I'm not satisfied with the footage overall in comparison to the VFO, because again, it's pretty good compared to other dash cams that I own. It's 4K, but I want to compare it to the VFO because the VFO is kind of like the top dog of the cameras right now. The only difference between them two is that the VFO, it has the front and rear, where this one has just the front only. But I did get the cabin adapter. But the cabin doesn't really do much at night. I'm gonna test the video now and see. When I get home, I'll see. But just off looking from the screen, it didn't look like it picks up anything. So yeah. What I do like about this camera, it does have the polarizing filter on it, and you could like tweak it, you could turn it, and it's built in. So I thought that was cool. Whereas the VFO, you had to buy that as an add-on. So I'm almost at the end of this, and then I'm gonna put it to, right now it's at 3 exposure, and then I'm gonna do it to the max, which is 6, and then do the same route, and then I'll just compare the difference. And I could probably make one video and just put that both videos both in one, so you guys can see the difference. Alright, so now we at 4K again, 30 frames with exposure at 6. From what I can see, it does look like it's a little brighter. I don't know how comfortable, because again, at nighttime it might be like, oh, this is actually perfect, but then in the daytime it's gonna be overexposed. So it's like you got to find the middle ground where you might as well just leave it alone, unless it's like the daytime, because I haven't tested night footage yet. If I look at the night footage and the night it's really really bad, and then I put the exposure at 3 and 6 or 6, and it's like, oh, that's perfect. It doesn't degrade the video, and it actually makes it the way it's supposed to be. But then you got to keep changing in the menu for the daytime, because the daytime is overexposed, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be annoying. So I think in that case, if it's too overexposed in the day, I might just keep it at the recommended setting, and then just if the night is not too bad, because I remember I caught an accident on camera, and it was at nighttime, and but so you want to, like, all right, so there was one time where it was like on the other side of the highway, and it was kind of dark. So and something like that, it won't pick up by this camera because it's too dark. And maybe if I tweak the settings, and I'm gonna test that this week, where when it's dark, I'll see if in iMovie if I could brighten it and see how that works. Because when you do that, the video gets grainy, and I don't know. So I feel like 6 might be too much though. Like it might work out perfectly where you can see things here, but I want to see how it compensates, how it does in the daytime at 6. So again, I did a couple of videos. I'll try to put them all at the end screen, and you guys could click each one, and or you could just go through my channel and get each video, and then kind of like just pick out the ones you want to see. I'm doing each separate one, so like that, if you're like me, I'll search it. There's times where people might even search 1080p at 30 frames, as the 1080p at a 60 frames per second. I'm not gonna do that one because I think 1440p 60 frames. Like, why would you want the 1080 60 frames? I mean, I could see why people want it, but I don't know. All right, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.